Hey, what's going on? It's Chris with Life 180. If you're looking to launch a business right now, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm gonna go through 4 things that you need to do with your money, 4 habits, 4 actions that you need to take with your money. If you're looking to launch a business, one of the greatest challenges that people have with businesses is they fail because of money problems. They fail because of the way that people handle their money and their relationship with money inside of that business, and those actions and those habits that entrepreneurs typically have with their money and how they utilize it as a tool inside of their business is typically what makes the business fail. So stay tuned and make sure you stay through all the way to the end, because I'm going to go through 4 key points that if you're launching a business, or if you are a salesperson, if you're a life insurance agent, a real estate agent, all these principles are going to apply to you. So stay tuned. Hey, what's going on, cash flow hackers? It's Chris with Life 180, and for this video, we're going to be talking about how to help you reach your business dreams, and ultimately, what do you need to do with your finances to be able to help you get there in a more predictable fashion and faster. And so without further ado, let's just get into this, because I've got 4 things for you that I want to share with you that I think you need to do, that I think everybody needs to do if you want to achieve your financial goals faster. So first thing, this is going to be really simple. Keep your overhead low. One of the biggest things that kills businesses' success is having too much overhead. Cash flow can kind of fluctuate a ton. If you go back to 2008, one of the stats I remember reading that blew my mind was that 70% of the businesses, about 70% of businesses that actually failed in 2008 because of the Great Recession, were actually cash flow positive. So what does that mean? When we talk about the market cycles and building an opportunity fund and doing all these things that I talk about in my other videos with how to prepare to take advantage of the downswing in these cycles, in the recessionary periods, I'm talking about the fact that there's a lot of opportunity because people don't prepare, they don't insulate themselves against these swings. And so if 70-ish percent of businesses failed during down times and they were still positive cash flow annually, but it's short windows of time when credit markets dry up, so they can't go and get lines of credit, they can't do all these things that they typically lean on to help get them through, it creates a lot of opportunity. Now, if you were to look at businesses like that, if they were to manage their cash flow better and keep their overhead as low as possible, that would help them weather those storms. It's by keeping your overhead low. I think the best way to say this is by keeping your overhead low, it puts you in the best position to have the most control of your results. And it is the biggest, it's the number one mistake. It's the mistake that I made, quite frankly, when I first started Life 180. I went out, got a big office, had some people that were working with me, took on a ton of overhead, signed a big lease, bought a bunch of furniture, did a custom build out, did all these things that put a lot of financial stress. And then when business didn't go the way that I thought it was gonna go, it kind of kicked me in the teeth a little bit. And so I had to kind of play recovery from that mistake. And it wasn't that the business wasn't great, but the financial stress of having too high of an overhead right out of the gate, especially if you are just launching a business. I gotta say this, if you're just launching a business or you're thinking about it, my advice to you is work out of your house. This is my studio. I work at a home now. I've figured out how to make all this work and do everything completely virtually. And one of the beautiful, I guess, unintended consequences of the pandemic is the fact that people are used to working remotely. And so keeping your overhead low is more acceptable now than it pretty much has been ever in the history of the business world. And so I would encourage you, if you're starting a business, keep your overhead low, keep your costs controlled, your fixed costs controlled. So as you grow your business, you can save more of that money, build a buffer, and you'll be able to achieve your success or whatever your objectives are with that in a much more predictable fashion. So that's number 1. All right, so the number 2 tip for you to do with your money to help you achieve your business dreams with your money, I guess, is start your own banking system. You got to build your own private banking system. Think about it this way. Banking is the most profitable business in the world. When you get into your business, what happens is you are typically going to store your money in a bank. You're going to borrow money from a bank. You're going to create a system where you're transferring a lot of money out of your control and into the bank's control. You're I've done a lot of videos on this, and so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but I think one of the top things that you can do if you want to accelerate your business, let's think about it this way. You have to have control of your money. And so if you're putting your money in the bank's hands, you're not controlling all that money. You're taking on unnecessary expenses. You're losing money. I was going to say letting money go, but you're losing money unknowingly and unnecessarily. And so what my advice to people is if we stop thinking about trying to chase big returns and trying to save higher percentages of money or anything of that nature, we need to make sure our efficiency is as optimized as possible. And by putting your money through your own banking system, you're recapturing a lot of the money that you'd be transferring away unknowingly to banks, or even knowingly sometimes through interest expenses. And you're going to be able to recapture that money and have it compound for you and have control of that money. And ultimately, it takes a long time, right? Like, these banks didn't get rich overnight. There's got to be systems that you implement. And when you do, you're going to have more security, guarantees, opportunity, and control with your money. And through that process, it's going to help you achieve, once again, your desired objectives. And to the first point where we talk about having high overhead, by keeping your overhead low, you can save a higher percentage into your own banking system. You let that start to go to work for you. You start to build up better reserve accounts. You can start to invest in different capital expenditures, whether it's real estate, whether it's major capital purchases like equipment for your business, depending on what you have going on. But by doing this through your own banking system and eliminating the bank, imagine every piece of equipment that you buy, every real estate property you buy, there's always a finance charge, right? And even if you're paying cash, a lot of people misinterpret what paying cash is, because there's opportunity cost that goes along with paying cash. Because when you pay that cash, you interrupt the compounding, because typically not only do you spend that money, but you lose what that money could earn for you had you invested it, right? Or saved it in an account. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure that that money is going into an account that's going to compound, that's going to grow at a greater rate than inflation, that you're going to have liquidity use and control of, and that you actually can leverage. It's going to create an emergency fund and an opportunity fund for you, for your business, for your real estate investment portfolio. And when you do this through your own privatized bank, it puts you in a better position to succeed more predictably. And that's what it's all about. So my third piece of advice is invest in yourself before you invest in anything else. When I talk about the banking policy, what I'm talking about is saving money. Saving money before you go and invest. And when you do invest in things that you understand, invest in things that you can control, like your business and real estate and stuff of that nature. That's the fundamental core principle, the foundational principle that we kind of follow here at Life 180. Now, when you invest, one of the biggest things that I tell people, you are your best asset. The number one investment you're ever going to make is in yourself. So when you think about it from that perspective, why put your money in a 401k? Why go put your money in qualified accounts? A lot of people go talk to their CPAs, and the CPA is like, hey, Chris, you need to go get a deduction and you need to reduce your taxable income. So go put your money in a 401k or put it in an IRA. The reality is, I'm not going to put my money into an account where I don't control that money. I can't access it without taxes and penalty. I don't know about you, but there's not an investment in the world that's going to get a better return than me investing in myself, in masterminds, in events, in my knowledge, in my expertise, in learning how to grow a YouTube channel, learning how to do all these different things. My encouragement to you is you have something inside of you that's worth a lot of value that you could pour into the world, and you can get compensated directly in correlation to the value that you're able to put out there into the world. The only thing holding you back is well, it's the old who, not how, right? Like maybe you need to get in different masterminds, get around different people, go to different events, surround yourself with people that are like you, that see the world, that want to do things in the world the same way that you want to do them. But you have to, before you go out and invest in anything, you have to invest in yourself. You have to get in those groups. And the reason that this is so important, because listen, when we go back to number 2, we talk about saving first. If you save first, that's great. But now when we go to invest, whether it's a business, heck, even if it's stocks or mutual funds or whatever, you want to make sure that you are taking an active role in understanding about what you are doing with your money. There's not another place in the world that you would think is this important. Your family, your faith, your parenting, your role as a husband or wife, those are all extremely important things. Money has just as big of an impact in your life, if not more so, because it kind of spills over into all those other areas, our ability to show up in life the way that we want to, right? So if all those other areas You wouldn't outsource your job as a husband to me, right? You wouldn't outsource your job as a parent to me or anybody, I hope, right? So why would you completely outsource your responsibility with your money, with your financial goals, with your objectives, with your responsibility with money and how you're gonna leverage money as a tool for you to reach the level of success, for you to be able to live the life that you wanna live? Why would you do that? The answer is because society, the financial system, Wall Street has programmed you to believe that that's just what you should do. And by doing that, you're giving up control of your money. When you put money in a 401k, an IRA, any kind of qualified account, that's what you're doing. You're giving up that control. Instead of investing there, invest in yourself. Take that money, pour it into yourself. Take that, build your knowledge, build your expertise, build your network. Pour that back into different investments. Become a more sophisticated, savvy investor. Learn how to find the right deals. Learn how to compound that money. Learn how to catapult the results in your life forward faster. That's how you can reach financial freedom in 10 to 15 years at the most, instead of running this stupid rat race on the hamster wheel. I combined two analogies into one there. You see that? Instead of running on the hamster wheel there till you're 65, hoping to hit retirement, coming up short like 95% of Americans do. Think about that. 95% of people in this country are coming up short. That means if you're in a room, wherever you are, with 100 people, look around, only 5 of you are gonna be able to be financially independent by the time you're 65, according to the statistics in the United States, the most prosperous country on the face of the earth. Only 5 people are able to hit retirement and maintain their standard of living. That is an atrocity that in the most prosperous country, that is our reality. My encouragement to you is do things differently. Success leaves clues. If you want to be in that 5%, you got to go find what the 5% are doing and do it. And I promise you, they're investing in themselves before anything else. So number 4 on this list is, I already alluded to it a little bit. It's the who, not how. Invest in who, not how. A lot of times, this is a mistake that I made. I thought I needed to know everything because my natural personality is very detailed. I want to take massive accountability and massive responsibility for the results of my life. That's great, and I think you need to do that. But when you hit a certain level, you're gonna know enough to get things done. You're gonna know enough of the how. What's gonna happen if you wanna scale and you wanna get to the next level, you're gonna hit a barrier, but the only way you're gonna break through that barrier is by investing in relationships, in people, in key employees, in key masterminds and groups and networks and all this stuff. And a lot of areas you're gonna have to put your money into key people and relationships, and that's overwhelming because of the fact that it's outside of the realm of normalcy for most people to think like it's hard to see putting that money into a person or a mastermind or an event as an actual investment, because it's really hard to quantify what that return on investment is gonna be. So that can be overwhelming, it can be scary, there's a lot of unknown there. And so when you think about that, I think that's one of the reasons why people don't do that. But my encouragement to you is, if you've gone through and you've followed the first 3 steps, you've kept your overhead low, you've saved money, you've invested in yourself, you're gonna then hit your barrier. And the only way you're gonna break through it is by investing in the right people. Focus on the who, not the how. And there's a great book called Who Not How that you gotta go out and read. I'll actually put a link in the description below to an Amazon link just to make it really convenient for you. It's a phenomenal book. It's one of those must reads that I think everybody needs to do. And that's another thing that I would throw in there. Make sure you're reading, make sure you're always learning and growing. It goes into number 3, right? Invest in yourself. A big part of that is like on the back of every one of my Life 180 t-shirts, I put change your thinking, change your actions, change your life. You have a life that you want to live, right? But if you work it backwards, your actions are ultimately what are going to create the life that you live right now. And if you're not living the life that you want right now, it means you need to do something different. You need to become something different to live that life. And that leads to your actions. But every action that you've ever taken in life was dictated by your thinking, right? There's no way around it. And so my encouragement to you is to really think about your thinking is going to be dictated by the people you hang out with, the things you watch, and the books you read, period. And what I've found for me personally is all the books that I've read in my life, because I've read every single one of those, that have made a drastic impact on me, on my thinking, on the way that I do business, on the people that I surround myself with, on the strategies that I utilize to execute things in my life. Books have been the #1 impact on my thinking, which have led to my actions, which have led to the lifestyle that we've created very, very intentionally. So hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, comment in the comment section below. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the bell, subscribe, hit the bell. That way you're notified every time I launch a new video. Till next time, have a blessed, inspirational day. We'll talk soon. See ya.